Hi everyone, welcome to Sugar Melts. Thanks for stopping by my channel. This is my first day in my studio for close to 2 weeks. I've been on a road trip. My fiance and I took 11 days and drove out to Utah, and we've been going through all the national parks. We went to Zion, Bryce, Capitol Reef, Canyonlands, and Arches. So at the very end, I've got some pictures from my trip, just a couple to show you how beautiful each park is. And if I've got time at the end, I'll also give you a quick walkthrough of how I planned a trip like that. 11 days, 5 parks, and what I did to stay organized and yet spontaneous. But of course, I brought a travel journal with me, and it worked out great. I'm so happy with it and how it turned out and the memories that I've got here. So going for today's project, I'm going to do this one again, but a couple changes that I learned along the way, things that I'll do different for my next trip. So one thing I did not like was I didn't like my closure. So what I had done was using just this pin here, and I had a long string and a short string, and my plan was to wrap it around and tie it, which becomes kind of cumbersome in a truck. And plus this thread, the cord, is just too thin. I need a thicker ribbon. I'm much happier with that. So we'll change the closure. I wish I'd corner rounded these, which I may do even right now, but I feel like you get less dog ears, you know, when it's going in and out of your purse and your folio and you're bouncing around with this thing. It just is easier on the paper. So from here, when I open it up, I put 2 pockets with some small tags, journal cards, and most of these I didn't use. Now they're just really pretty paper, and I put, oh, I did use this one. Here we go. So let's see, do I need this one for this? I don't even know what I'm writing here. Oh, that's something totally irrelevant for this trip. Just responding to an email. Anywho, so I'll pull these cards out and put them in my stash for another project. Here was, I used, I forget who does this. Is it Pink Monarch, I think, where she talks about using vellum a lot. So I put a piece of vellum in, which is really nice because it doesn't cover your paper. It just softens it a little bit. And once again, I had lots of extra journal cards. I'll take those out. And then I sewed in this wonderful little notebook. And so every day I had 2 to 3 pages to talk about the animals we saw, the trails we went on, the restaurants we ate at, the people we met. It was just perfect. And then I have this flippy thing here and another note card. Again, didn't use that. So I used a couple, but I had way more than I needed. And then I opened it up here and I had this other list, which was really handy for some places we went, some of the things we were doing. We didn't have a lot of signal. Any of you who've traveled and know that you get into these national parks and your signal can be pretty sketchy. So having paper to write down lists of what you want to do, what you want to see, mile markers, guideposts, can be really helpful for those kind of day trips. So that worked out really well. And then I have another pocket here. So yeah, a couple of these cards were used. These were not. So I'm going to put these in my little basket. And again, overall, I was really happy with how this journal held up. Just going to make a couple changes, and then and we'll make another one. Okay, so the paper I'm going to use to recreate it, I don't know where I got this. This might be from Walmart, and it might have once again been inspired by something I saw on Pink Monarch. I'm not sure, but oh my goodness, I mean, this paper is crazy, and it's double-sided, so it's made for a travel journal. Oh my gosh, look at this. It's just screaming to be used. So I'm just going to cut this down and figure out what I'm going to use for my paper. So again, basic design, just so you know. This was originally a 12 by 12 paper. think this was 12, isn't this? Yeah, so this was originally, so this was 12, 12, and you can see here I folded over this to make a 1 inch so that the back of the closure didn't show. So this was 12 by 12, and I cut it to 7 by 12. So we may just do 6 just for fun. And then what I did, I gave it a 1/4 inch spine. And what that does is it allows so much room for notebooks and journal cards and other paper. And so that's probably what I'm going to do. I may even go to an 1/8. But what you'll be happiest with is if you also do whatever you do on this side, do on this side. If you're going to do a wraparound closure, which of course I love. You can use magnets, you can use Velcro, you can use ribbon. There's just so many ideas. And so then all I did in here, let's see, I'm not exactly sure why I put that paper hinge, but for some reason that I felt the need to do a little paper hinge to give it some strength. But this page here, so this pink page, this is another 12 by 7, and I gave it a fold at the, so 1/4 inch at about, just right about 5 inches there, so just inside, and then it flips over inside, and then I did another, so that's this one here, and then I've got this other page which also has probably a little less than a 1/4 inch. That might be closer to an 1/8 of an inch, and then it also has the flip and a tuck spot here, so lots of things you can do with this. What I'm thinking I'll do this time, instead of sewing this journal in, is I might make this into a pocket so that this back cover slides in. The nice thing about having small notebooks and these little steno pad things is, because this is also secured in, is if you use your pockets and belly bands to hold them in, you can swap them out. So you can continue to use the base of the journal. You can add to it without filling it up and being done. You can just change the notebook out. And so that's what I'm thinking I'll do this time. So I guess we'll see. Okay, so I'll be back in a minute after I cut some paper down and we'll get started. Talk to you then. Bye. Hey everyone, so I'm back. Here's what I've been doing. So I trimmed down 2 pieces of paper to 7 by 12. And so one of these will be the cover and the other one will go inside. We'll see. And that gave me 2 pieces of 5 by 12. Which are not too big to do a lot with, but we could make pockets with them. We're certainly not going to throw them away. So we'll do something with these. And then I took a 3rd sheet and I cut it 6 by 12, and I used I used half of it basically and cut it down to make a small notebook. And I'm going to insert that inside. As I mentioned, I didn't want to sew it in this time. I wanted to just slip it in like under a belly band. So I may use this piece of paper for that, which is the leftover component. You can see here, so all of this makes, so this is like the 8 by 12, and this was the last 4 by 12. The other thing that I did, that paper pack, is really nice. Inside has so many of these already journal cards ready to go. So I just cut a bunch of these out, and we'll use some of these. And you can see they're really nice on the back side. You can write on them and they'd be, you could read what you wrote. Some cards really, you have to put a sheet of some kind of paper, otherwise your writing wouldn't be legible. So, but we'll use those in the journal. The only thing about the paper I didn't like was it had a hole on the top for hanging in a store, and so of course you got to trim that down. Now, most of the time it's not a problem, but on a couple it did interfere with like the postcard image, and so it did take away from that. But other than that, the pack so far has been really nice. Okay, so let's get our large pieces. So these are, always double check, 7 by 12. So I'm going to first, let's get my scoring board. Let's get all this stuff out of the way, and then pick which one is going to be the cover. So that or that one. You know, I think I like this one better for the cover. I don't know why, but I do. So there. Okay, I don't know why. So knowing that this is going to be the cover, what I'm going to do, let's see, let's flip it over this way. I want it to be 7 by, and I got to make sure that the notebook's going to fit now that it's sewn. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's go at 4.5. Is that enough space? Maybe 4 3/4. Let's do a little math. Let's just double check. Oh my goodness. Okay, so just got some scribble paper here. So let's draw this out. So if this is 7 and this is 12, and we've got to get a 4.5. So if this was 4, and then we'll do a little, this is, I guess we should do 1/4 inch there. And then these two will match, whether they're 4.5 or 4 3/4. And then we're going to have another 1/4 there. So that equals 1/2. I do this backwards. I know, it's crazy. So if I do, let's say, this is 4. Let's say I do 4 3/4 there. Oops, 4 3/4. 4 3/4 there. So that's 8. 9.5 plus 1/2. That leaves us, so that's 10, with 2 inches. 2 inches would be fine. Maybe I'll do a ribbon closure this time, or Velcro. Velcro would be nice. Velcro would be very nice. Maybe I'll do that. Okay, so that's what I'm going to shoot for, is 4 3/4. This is actually, does it really need to be that? I mean, it's less than 4. That's almost a full other inch. I don't think it needs to be 4 3/4. Let's try 4.5, and then 4.5. So that's 9.5. And that leaves this at 2.5. Okay, well, that might be enough room then to do a different kind of closure, maybe, because we'll be able to fold it back and tuck in either magnets or something else. So, okay, that's what I'm going to shoot for. Okay. Okay, let's put that there so I don't lose it. Forget what I'm doing here. Okay, so let's do, what did I say? 4.5? Okay, after all that, what did I say? What did I decide? 4.5. And then can do 1/4 inch. So that's going to be, okay, 4.5 plus 1/4 inch. 4 1/2 plus 1/4 equals 4 3/4. So then if I'm going to go out another 4 1/4, right? That's what we're doing next. So then that's going to be 9 1/4. Is that right? Because, yes, 9 1/4. Okay. 9 1/4. And then we're going to go to 9.5 for the spine. There we go. Okay. Oh, we'll see. We'll see if that's right. Let's push that out of the way for a minute and we'll do our folds. Okay. So let's just kind of burnish these ends down. Doing it from 1/4 inch is not too hard. You can get a pretty good fold there. It can be tricky when you've got 1/8 inch and 1/8 inch. And when I have, so if you're doing one and you're trying to do 1/8 inch, what I find works best for me is either to go in the opposite direction or to start in the middle with that second fold. It can get, I don't know, it's just hard to get the paper to fold like you want it to. And yeah, you can always go back. That's fine. I think that's good for the paper. You'd rather have it, you know, start to extend those fibers and stretch those fibers because we don't want the paper to crack later. Okay, so this is going to go here. And then our little notebook. Oh, it's pretty short. I cut that way too short, didn't I? That's 7. But I cut this, did I cut this at 6? Yeah. Oh, it's 5.5. Oh, maybe that's why. That's pretty short. That's okay. It may even, oh, that's going to look really pretty. Like that. That's okay. What I'm also got, I bought these papers recently. They're 4x4, or I'm sorry, 4x6, but they're Post-its and they've got all these designs on them. So I could just pop these off into here. How perfect is that? So I'm definitely going to be using these. Okay, so the other thing we want to work on next is our other sheet of 7x12. Okay, let me get this out of the way. So this will go in here somewhere. So we're going to fold this and maybe, normally I would make a pocket, but I want to glue it into that seam. So if I glued it in there, I could make a pocket here. And then this could probably fold back. Let's do some math. Okay, where's my notebook? So for this side, let's do this. Okay, so this is 7 and this is 12. And if this is a pocket here, we'd probably want the pocket to be, oh, probably 2 inches. We'll leave it at 2 for now. And then we've got our 1/4 inch. And then we're going to want this to be at least 4 inches. So we're only using half of the paper here so far. So then if I fold this piece back, what is the back here? Is it 4.5? Is that what I said? Oh, I'm always doing this. Yeah, it's 4.5. So I don't try to bump it up too tight, just because that's, I don't know, I don't like that. So 4 1/4, let's do that. So that's 6.5 here. So that still leaves us with 5.5. So what could we do? So I could fold this back and make another page and a flip out. We could do another flip out. Wouldn't have to be a full 4 1/4. It could be 4. And what does that leave us with? That leaves us with 1.5 inches. Well, that would be enough for the belly band. That's going to be perfect. Okay, so let me double check my math here. So the first 2 inches, that'll be a pocket. And then we've got the spine, 1/4 inch. And then we're going to do a page of 4.5, 4 1/4. So that puts us at 6.5. Fold that back to 4. And that's 10.5. And that leaves us with 1.5 inches. Okay, that'd be perfect for a belly band. Okay, so I'm gonna chop off. Let's do this. Okay. So here we are at 12, and I'm gonna go to 1.5, and that will be the belly band for the notebook. Perfect. Let's get my notebook up, or my scoreboard here. Okay, so we said we're going to go to 2 inches for a pocket. Go 2 inches for a pocket, and then 2 1/4 for the spine. And then that's there. So 4 1/4, that's going to be so 6.5. 6.5. Yep. And that leaves us with 4. Perfect. Okay. Let's see. Let's see what happens here. This is how I make them. I kind of get an idea in my head and I just start drawing, and I have a scrap of paper and I start doing some math. And normally I would use my calculator, but that is on my phone and that is recording right now. So that is not an option. So that's not too helpful right now. So, okay, so there's that fold. Let's get that in there. And then this fold's going to go back. Oops. that does not look right. I'm not surprised. I may have made a mistake here. What did I make a mistake on? So this is a little bit too long. That's okay. We're gonna be fine here. What did I do? So there's that pocket. And there's that fold out. Okay, so I'm gonna have to trim this off just a smidge to make sure that it fits. That's okay. Well, I don't know where I made my mistake, but I apparently made my mistake. You all are probably watching it going, you cut long. Sorry about that. It's like a really bad movie and you have to watch it, huh? So here's probably where, yep, that's where I did my mistake. That's okay. Not a problem. Oops, don't want to cut you though. So I'm gonna just cut it just shy of 4 here. Okay. Well, that's real life when you're doing this stuff. Like I said, I have my camera has the calculator and it's on the phone. So, okay, no worries. We got this. Here we go. So let's go ahead and start gluing this down. And I want to do a just a little hole punch here. But what I like to use for hole punches is the center. You can use whatever you've got. If you've got just a hole punch, that's fine. But I really like the middle of an envelope punch board. It's just so pretty. So all I'm going to do is scroll this out to half of the 7, which will be 3.5. Oops. Well, that may be a pocket now too, because I did the wrong side. Oh, can you believe I'm going to post this? That's okay. There we go. That's going to work. And I want to do some corner rounding too before I get too far. I'll forget otherwise. Just so that these corners stay a little softer and don't get banged up too much when they're being carted around. Okay, there we go. So yeah, that's another option for making your hole punches, is to use that. If you've got an envelope board, punch board, and you don't use it very much, that is a great way. Okay, let's get this going the right direction here. And I'm still not sure what we'll do for the closure, but we've got time. We don't have to decide yet. So I'm going to put the glue on this. Let's see here. I haven't used the glue since I got back from vacation, so it might be... Oh, it's going good. Okay, sorry for my big head in the way here. Just going to smear that. I like a nice steady flow of glue. It doesn't need to be a lot, but it does need to be even. And then we're just going to do glue on the 2 sides since the seam is going to be glued in. So let's do it on the seam here. There we go. Okay. So then I use the seam as my guide, fold it up, and press it right down in there. So you got 1/4 inch, so you've got a little bit of wiggle room here. Oops. There we go. Is that going to be right? Oh, it's sliding a little bit. There we go. That's the nice thing about the liquid glue, though. It gives you that just a couple seconds to get it all lined up. Okay. Oh, see, I pulled it right up off of there. So I need a little more time to get that to stay in place. I may even need to add a little more glue. That's a fold you really want. You really want that seam to be nice and dry. Okay. There we go. And then I fold that back, and that should be good now. So let's work on the belly band here. So I just want to double check that my little notebook here would fit. And actually, what I may do, because this notebook is so small, would it fit in there? Might be a little small for in there, but it could go out here. Well, it's got to be underneath. So that's not going to quite work. It's just a little too small for this pocket, I think. It's going to bump up against that spine. What if? But who says it has to go that direction? Well, let me just try this. Oh, would that work? Nope, still going to butt against that spine. Okay, well, I guess we're not going to do that. So, maybe, will this paper fit in here? Oh, well, that paper, if I trim it down, might fit in there very nicely. We'll see what happens. We'll just keep going, huh? We're just going to keep moving forward. So this was where I was going to put the belly band, because that's where the spine is. So actually, what I should be doing, oh no, I'm not thinking straight. So normally I have a full page in here, but it's on this side is where the spine is. So the notebook actually should be going right there. It's got to go in the spine, and I've got it on backwards, so I'm not thinking clearly. Okay, so I'm thinking we put the belly band here. There we go. And that's going to go very nicely. Okay, there we go. Ooh. So all I do for belly bands, and you can, you know, around the corners if you like, especially if whatever you're putting in there it's kind of getting kind of close to the edge. You may be happier with rounded corners, but in this one, the notebook's not going to be moved a lot. It's not going to be taken out much, so it won't, it's not going to be a problem, I don't think. Okay, so we'll just let that sit there, and that notebook's going to slide in there. And in here can be all of our little journal cards. This can also be where we put some paper. Let's see if I want the paper over here. I do like that idea. Maybe I'll do a pocket here for some journal cards. That's what I should do. Okay, so I had that small piece. Yes, I had this. And it doesn't have to be anything fancy. Maybe what I'll do, let's look at those journal cards. Some of them look kind of large. Let's see what's going to fit here. So I've got all these different cards here. Okay, so do I want to do that now? See, that's going to, I'm going to have to trim this to go in there, which makes me think, see, that's going to be too big for there. But would it be too big for the front pocket? Oh, see, that front pocket's got lots of space. So that's a good thing. So maybe I'll do a small pocket in here for other cards, and then we can have this notepad here. 2, 3, 4. Let's just do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 pieces of paper. And if you wanted to, you could do a little cover for it. I don't think it needs it for this. Oh, I was gonna do. I'm not gonna trim those corners yet because I haven't decided on the closure. Oh, getting ahead of myself. Oh, let's see. Okay, so for this, let's just trim this and make it into some kind of pocket. And then we'll put some cards in there. And how did I end up with glue open? 2 bottles. Oh, for heaven's sakes. Okay. So let's just make a simple pocket with this. You could also do a belly band. It's a little short because of how I cut the notebook. If it were full length, that would be a great place for a belly band also. We're just going to do maybe a slanted pocket here. So let's see what we've got to work with. So it's 4 inches. And this is, how many inches is that? That's right at 4. So I need to trim that down just a smidge. Let's go to 3 3/4. And would that fit? Oh, see, that's going to be just perfect. Okay. So then what I'm going to do is, I'm going to flip it upside down. Oh, that's a horrible looking paper there. Let's see. I want to be able to see it, but it's got that crazy looking color on the back. Do I have? Well, let's see if this will show up. What I want to do, so it won't be visible. So this is 6 inches. So what I want to do is a pocket that is right at 1 inch there. And then 1 inch there. Now, since it's on the inside of the pocket, because I'm not going to use, I don't like that color. I don't think it matches this. I don't know who the designer was, but I don't think it matches it at all. And we're never going to see the inside. So I'm just going to cut this. And these two are pretty even. Look at that, pretty even. And so I'm going to use this on the inside. Now, unfortunately, I wanted it to go the other way. That's fine. I'm not too worried about it. What I could do, oh, that'll be just fine, don't you think? That looks lovely. So I'm going to use that, and then we'll put some little, can I do that? No, that's, yeah, see, what I'd like to do is flip it over, but that's such a crazy pattern on the other side. It looks like wallpaper. I just don't know what they were thinking when they put that design on there. This is gonna, it's got this plasticky feel to it, so I'm not even sure if this glue is gonna hold it. I may need to get some tear and tape out. I don't know. We'll see. I just, every now and then there's a color and I think, what in the world were you doing? So I don't want it too close to the seam, just in case it gets a little bulky when I start putting things in there. So let's just leave it there. And again, you could have a flip top if you wanted. I could have used that paper and just fold it over the top. But for this, I didn't think it needed it today. We don't need to do all that. Okay, let's get that on there. I may just save this for another project. Ooh, or it could go here, wouldn't it? Nope, nope, that's the belly band. Okay, well, let's see if everything is now all dried into place. So that's got our notebook. And then we've got all these fun little cards. So put that in there. Oh, I like this one too. That goes in there. And then get out some of the larger ones here for that. How super cute is this? Oh my gosh. So for our closure, what should we do for the closure? I can fold this back. Actually, I've got a fun idea. What I'm going to do, however, oh dear. So I bought this new, it's for eyelets, but I don't like the little tiny eyelets that you use on cards because they're fine on a card, but on a journal, I use it too much and they don't hold up, and the ribbon or whatever I put through it always seems to yank it out. So I bought this kind of industrial strength eyelet kit, and where did I put that? So these are like 1/2 inch. They're 1/2 inch holes, 1/2 inch. And it came with this one kit, but I don't love it. I don't love it. I'm going to use one of these in this kind of bronzy color. Kind of looks antique, just like the paper. And should have, yeah, so here's the set. Now it's pretty loud when I go to hammer it in. That's okay. I'll do everything up until that point. Okay, so this is going to go together, and then we'll put a big ribbon in there. Okay, so let's find the middle. And I bought a special 1/2 inch punch for this, which should be right here. So it's the perfect size, 1/2 inch punch. Okay, so 7 inches. So midway is going to be about there. So it's going to be right on this line here. And we'll just go in as far as it'll let us. And then, okay, let's see. There's that. And And then there's that. And then I need to find this plier tool that I use. I've used it once. I used it once, and now I don't even know where it is. Because it's quite the tool. So let's look around here. Okay, I'm going to turn the camera off while I look for this contraption, and I will be right back. Hey, I'm back. Okay, so I found, look at this thing. Oh my gosh. This is my eyelet setter, but it gives me such a clean eyelet there. And I can thread a nice size ribbon through that. So, okay, let's see what we've got for ribbon, right? Let's look at some ribbon options. Hi, so I pulled out a bunch of ribbon. I'm not sure I want this one. See how I open this. Let's see. So this one, let's see. It's nice, but it's kind of sparkly for this motif. I like this a lot. It's got the frayed edge, but it may not be quite, and I've got this huge eyelet. I feel like it could be a little more substantial. And then I've got this, I think it's called Sorry. I've had it for years. Sorry silk ribbon. I don't even remember when I got it or where I got it, but you know, it ended up in a box. And now that I've got these eyelets though, I got some of the stuff to break out. So let's see where it starts. It's, this is pretty, I don't know. I'm not sure if this is really the project for this, but I also have this stray piece that was just sitting there. And I think this is going to be perfect. So I can definitely do my corner rounding now that I know I'm not going to bend it over and fold it up or anything. Let's get these protected before we go any further. Get that out of there. And get that in. Oops, these are not. That's better. That's better. Okay. Notebook. Journal cards. And let's do our ribbon closure. Oops, that's, I have to go back and re-glue that a little bit. Not holding as well as I wanted. Okay. Oh, that's going to be much easier than what I was just doing in Utah. So, oh, okay. So all we can do here, and I may trim this down once I used it, but how easy is this just to wrap? And it's nice and thick, so it will tuck in. Perfect. Much happier with this outcome. Here we go. So that's life on the fly with all the bumps and bruises along the way. So thanks for sticking with me. And next thing I was going to do is I was going to tell you about my trip to Utah. Okay, so for my trip to Utah, this little acetate type file folder with a snap closure, this is what I kept everything for the last 9 months while I planned this trip. I had purchased these different maps, and they were okay. You may remember these look like the old AAA maps we used to get. The problem with them, though, is they don't open up. This is what you get. And these parks are huge. So the one map that you're trying to see, like, where is this trail? It's going to be spread over 4 different pages to figure out where you're trying to go. So I wasn't thrilled with all of these. Just know that you may want to take a look if you can. Go to a Barnes & Noble or something before you order it or buy it. Just get a look and see if that's the approach, because I found it tricky to see everything I wanted. The other thing that I didn't like was I couldn't find one that said Arches and Canyonlands. I had to get this Moab trail hikes. And then when I got to Moab, what I saw was there was a separate map for, it's called Island in the Sky, because Canyonlands is so large. It's divided into 4 districts. And because of the way the canyons and the rivers go, just to get from Moab over to what's called the Maze, it's almost a 6-hour drive. So all I really need, and I wasn't going to do that. I don't think there's any services over there. You really got to be like, have a plan to go there. So what I really needed was just a Canyonland one, and broken out by there's 4 districts. And so that's something that I wish I'd known and done different. But they do have in here the Dead Horse Point State Park, and that's really popular. There's lots of petroglyphs there. The La Salle National Forest. So that was okay. That wasn't, you know, terrible. But what was most helpful was I downloaded these guide maps off of, let's see, this is Zion, and this had the entire park on the one view, which was what I couldn't achieve in these. So I download these off of, I think, from the Park Service, or you just go out to, you know, and find a PDF of this from the park. And so that was Zion. This one was Bryce. It had all my trails on there. So that was great. I could see everything in one view. Capitol Reef, the same thing. I could see everything in one page. And then the same thing is more of Capitol Reef. We're on Capitol Reef. And then this was Arches. So the Arches Park, everything was, this is what we took with us on the road, and we were able, here's the visitor center, and we just followed this red street road all the way through. We knew everything we were coming up on. It was great. And the same thing for Canyonlands. After I went digging through, I was like, oh, I've got Island in the Sky. So this was the map that we ended up using the most. So just a thought before you buy all these kind of things, just if you can go to your bookstore and look at them and see if it's really what you want. Otherwise, it's totally free just to go online and download these and print them off. And I was much happier with these print offs. Next, so I have this, it's like a calendar, but it doesn't have any month or days in it. And so I bought this years ago, and it's got like 36 pages. So it's great for planning vacations, because I can just, when I know my month, I put in the days of the week, and then I was able to put in where I'm going to be. So this was Zion, 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 Zion to Bryce, Bryce, Bryce to Capitol Reef, Capitol Reef, Capitol Reef to Canyonlands, Canyonlands, then to Arches, and then on and on. So having one of these, if you're planning a road trip, can really help keep you organized, where you're supposed to be, when you're supposed to be there. This is a great little calendar that I found. So again, just an empty plan of the month kind of thing. I also had all of my hotel reservations. I like paper. I like to be able to go, look, you said I have a room. But I had no hiccups with the rooms. They had all contacted me beforehand. So that worked out great. Then I did a spreadsheet of each, similar to that calendar there, with where I was going to be, what my travel time was between each park, so I knew where I was staying. I have my hotels listed, and then the parks that I wanted to go to and the trails that I thought we would like. So we watched a lot of YouTube videos. We just watched things online, TikTok, whatever, just to get a sense of which trails were going to be most in line with what we were trying to do. So having a spreadsheet like this. Well, then of course the government shut down 2 weeks before we left. So I was like, well, I don't know what's going to happen when we get there. Is it really going to be open? Is it not going to be open? Well, every park was open. Utah has been covering everything, so it was amazing. But I had gone to AI and said, hey, what else do you recommend? And so this is the Utah backup itinerary, and AI made me for each region a backup main plan, and a scenic alternative, and then even some rainy day plans for when we were in the area. So these are just some ideas on, you know, how to plan your trips and what to look at, because it can be a little overwhelming. We also got this map, which worked out really well, because Zion, unlike any other park I can remember being in, everything is only by shuttle. And this shuttle system was amazing. I mean, you just walk up to the bus, you get on, it takes you where you want to go, you get off. It was super easy. It was every 5 minutes. We didn't ever have to wait long. It was very efficient. They tell you where they're stopping. You don't have to guess. You're not going to get off in the wrong spot. They pick you up at the visitor center. You got all 9 places to get stopped. And they always tell you when the last time they pick up and the last time they stop us. So this is a great thing. If you happen to go to Zion, be prepared for the shuttle system. But again, it worked amazing. I was not looking forward to it. I wanted to have control and park where I wanted, but with the thousands of people there, I could totally see there would have been nowhere to park. We would have gone and been disappointed, and this way we got to see everything. So, okay, so hope this was helpful in some way. Next time you're planning kind of a busy, complicated type trip with lots of moving parts, this was how I do it. And here at the end, I've got a couple pictures for you from my trip. So hope you enjoy. Thanks, guys. Bye.